Obviously, the crypto market has been heating up over the last couple days, and technically, we could even say the last couple weeks, especially when it comes to Ethereum. Now, everyone is wondering why aren't altcoins like HBAR, for an example, following Ethereum right now? And the main reason why is because we are in phase 2 of the market. So if you are excited about the fact that HBAR has ran from, sub 5 cents all the way up to 40 cents already, and it's currently trading at 26 cents. Well, guess what? This is just the beginning for these altcoins like HBAR, and already they are at some nice highs. In fact, in the last 1 year, HBAR is up 393% still, which tells us, guess what? When it comes to altcoins really breaking out, and when it comes to phase 3 and phase 4 of the cycle, which is the altcoin phase of the market, these types of altcoins like HBAR that have shown already incredible amounts of strength are going to be even bigger in value and also on center stage. So this is actually very exciting for us HBAR holders, and it's something that we have to look forward to. Right now, currently, when we look at HBAR, the market cap of HBAR is about roughly $11 billion. And even going off of the fully diluted value of $13 billion, I think that the value today could easily 4x to possibly even 10x if we're thinking about some of these other market caps in the market. Right now, we're at number 16 on the list. Looking at the top 10, the value just to get into the top 10 is about almost $31 billion. And we're not even in the altcoin phase of the cycle. And I'm mainly looking at altcoins like Solana, where it has $100 billion in value compared to HBAR that has, $13 billion in fully diluted value. I mean, listen, we can 10x from here. I'm mainly just looking at $1 to $2 for HBAR this cycle, being more conservative. But, there's definitely possibilities of HBAR just shocking everyone and going to some of these higher market cap areas. But regardless of that, I do think that HBAR is going to steal a lot of attention this cycle. And the reason for that is simply the adoption phase that Hedera is actually currently in. We know that the adoption around the network has been growing tremendously. We also know that the partnerships and the announcements from the Hedera team have also been heating up more than anything that we've seen in the past. And even today, in terms of like the DeFi side of the Hedera market, I do think that this is primed for significant adoption and growth. Right now, currently up about 7.23% in TVL, sitting at about $137 million. I think that we are on a path to retargeting some of these all-time highs here, around $213 million. And also along the path here, in terms of a lot of these protocols, I do think that we are going to see a lot more protocols added to the Hedera ecosystem over the coming weeks and months ahead, especially considering the fact that we do know Hedera has been announcing a lot of great ecosystem expansion initiatives, like for example the one with Thrive, which I'm very excited about going live. But beyond just DeFi TVL, sorry for interrupting the video, but I have to let you guys know that I am now officially partnered up with iTrustCapital, the best platform out there for premium custody accounts and even crypto Roth IRAs. They offer 80 plus digital assets, including even physical gold and silver. They have partnerships with some of the biggest players out there, and they also have full-on institutional grade security tied into these accounts, which is extremely important at a time where we are starting to see more and more crypto exchanges being hacked. And also, the best part about iTrustCapital is that it's 100% US-based support. And also, you can get $100 right now as a funding bonus if you sign up utilizing my link. There's going to be a link down in the description below as well as in the comments below. If you go over here, you can just scroll down to the bottom and you can sign up utilizing my link, which allows you to get $100 in a funding bonus. And for a little bit more information here you have on their website, 0% no monthly annual fees, 1% cryptocurrency transaction fees, and then we also have the prices with gold and silver. So if you guys do want to go check this out, you guys are more than welcome to. I do think that this is the best platform to lock in on long-term crypto investments with, of course, the crypto IRA platform, which is tax advantaged. So with that being said, let's dive on in back to the video. We also know that Google searches are starting to grow for some of these projects. Big shout out to Tokenizer for this, because I keep telling you guys to focus on Google Trends. I haven't looked into HBAR in a while, But here we could actually see that Google search trends on HBAR is back on the rise. Looks like retail interest in Hedera is picking back up, as we're back at levels we haven't seen since late December 2024. Reminder that the last time Google Trends was at this level, we were sitting at a 40-cent HBAR. Lots of growth has happened since then. Let's see where it takes us this time. And like I said, I do think that this is going to be the moment in this market where we do start to see moves like we saw back here in 2020 into 2021. The level in which we are trading at currently in this market is like right around this November, December timeframe back in 2020. And we already know what happened after, which is the market going absolutely crazy. And the reason why I do believe that we are in that phase is simply because Ethereum just started to lead the way. So Ethereum is telling us, guess what? We are in phase 2. We still have 2 more phases of the market to go through. And that's where altcoins like Hedera actually start to have that crazy push to the upside. And it's at a time where we know that retail is starting to take a look into HBAR. But it's no surprise considering the fact that, like I said, Hedera has been on fire with the announcements. They've been a part of some crazy events lately as well. And on top of that, we know that HBAR just recently got listed on Robinhood back in the end of July. So, already we are seeing some tremendous listings for Hedera. The market opportunity is growing, and this is putting a lot more eyes on Hedera because we already know that Robinhood has about 25 million users. So this is great exposure for Hedera, and it definitely put a lot more eyes on the project. But also the fact that Hedera was listed in that document from the White House, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology, that also definitely helped. And this was definitely a huge, big confirmation that Hedera is not here just to be, a flashy altcoin. No, they are actually a part of something much bigger. I do think that Hedera is going to be, a blue chip crypto project, not just in the US, but globally in the coming years. I think that it already is a blue chip. I said this even back in 2021, right? I said that Hedera is going to be a household name in this space. Just give it some time and you're going to see, how big Hedera becomes. And today we already know that Hedera is closing in on 500,000 followers on X. It's working with some very prominent names in the enterprise sector, even in the financial institutional side of, things as well. And they are working with central banks and governments, and they've just grown to become a very large name in crypto. And I think that this is just going to continue to become more and more relevant as time goes on. And on top of that, what's crazier about the market opportunity for Hedera, like I said, with institutional adoption growing around the space and a lot more focus put on these utility projects, HBAR is not just growing around the retail side, like Robinhood listings or exchange listings. No, we also know that if we go over here from HBAR Tata, as of August 2025, HBAR is included in 27 plus digital asset indexes and featured in 13 ETPs and ETFs, a clear sign of growing institutional trust and adoption. From top crypto benchmarks to leading smart contract funds, Hedera's footprint is growing. And yes, it is. And this is another big sign that we should be taking Hedera very serious at this point, because institutional players, they are aware of Hedera's strength. They are, aware of the growing interest around the network. They know how much demand there is for Hedera. And we can even see the full breakdown here as well. You can see all of the list in terms of which indexes HBAR is included in. And it is extremely significant, but also on top of that, we have down here the indexes and the full breakdown. You can see exactly what these indexes do include. But the fact that we are seeing this much growing adoption around Hedera, I mean, guys, the second that we start to see a green light across the board for a lot of ETFs and ETPs in the space, HBAR is going to be one of those very large altcoins that are included in majority of these ETPs and ETFs. The market opportunity here, the exposure for HBAR is just wild to me. And it's also clearly a part of the push from Hedera to really get the name out there. I mean, listen, there wasn't a lot of marketing for HBAR back in 2021. And I've shared this on multiple occasions of how successful HBAR was back here in 2020 to 2021. I think that the overall growth was over a 50x return from the lows to the highs. And, this time around, we do have marketing. We do have a lot of exposure. We have the ecosystem presence growing. DeFi is also a big deal now on Hedera. It's only going to become much bigger from this point on. So when we think about that, the recognition here for Hedera and the market opportunity here for retail investors is extremely significant. I've said it many times over that I do think that HBAR is one of those extremely bullish altcoins right now in this market. I think that it's significantly undervalued as well. A lot of people will say, no, it's not that undervalued. I think that HBAR deserves to be in the top 10, if not even the top 5, right? I think that the top 5 is somewhere, where HBAR could easily, hit this cycle, and that's $100 billion of market cap. Right now, fully diluted value about $13 billion. Even if we were going to jump into the top 10, that's almost 2 times the value where it is right now, which would take it to almost a new all-time high. And we know that price discovery is where most of those violent moves actually happen in terms of the price chart. I do think that HBAR could easily, hit a new all-time high within the next month or two. And if we're thinking about how close we are to a new all-time high, just going off of the weekly view here on the chart, right? The second that we get a weekly candle close over this 36-cent level, it's almost like 37 cents. We'll just round it to 37 cents. We failed to do this back in December and even back in January. We didn't even get close to a weekly close around that level. But the second that we actually get a weekly close over this, it will close over that resistance going back to March of 2021. And once we broke over this in September of 2021, we ran quickly to 57 cents. Obviously, we couldn't, keep the momentum around price action because this is right around the time where the market was actually close to its topping point. But this time around, again, like I said, we're in phase 2. We still have 2 phases of the cycle to go through. Right now, if we think about HBAR and how close it is to actually breaking over this weekly level, we're about 40% away. This could happen very fast. The second that we get a close over this, we still have 2 phases. We still have a lot of time for altcoins. The level in which we will go to after this, it's 54% away, almost 55% to that all-time high. Price discovery after this point could easily push us to $1. It could happen very fast. I just shared in a video earlier today talking about how some of these altcoins are going crazy. I mean, OKB, which is just an exchange token. I mean, guys, in the last day, it's up 112%. In the last 7 days, 115%. Last month, 104%. In the last year, it's almost up 200%. But almost all of these gains are simply just from one candle here. This is a 100% candle in a single day. Again, a 100% candle would take us almost to a new all-time high on HBAR. This is how fast altcoins can move just off of, a simple announcement or just off of the chart actually breaking over key levels. So I'm watching HBAR closely, and I'm going to be watching HBAR closely for the remainder of August into September, especially with the Fed interest rate decision. I just think that, we're going to start to see a lot of big news coming out around certain projects. I think that there's a lot of news coming out around Hedera, in the rest of August. I really do think that, we should be focused on Hedera right now. With ETPs and ETF decisions looming, we already know the SEC has been extremely pro-innovation, pro-crypto lately. Even the Ripple case wrapped up. So I feel like these ETFs and these ETPs are going to probably get approved within the next 2 months, I would say. So that could be a huge catalyst for HBAR's price action. Any announcement, any GC announcement, anything can change the price chart very fast. So I'm definitely watching HBAR. Retail interest is growing. Institutional interest is growing significantly. And like I said, it's clear at this point that, Hedera is becoming a blue chip. It is a blue chip. And the top 10 is not out of the question. The top 5 can become something, that we hit this cycle. If we hit the top 5, definitely prepare for some significant price action to be hitting your portfolios, because again, the top 5, 100 billion plus. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely would like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord on the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.